Good day, everyone. My name is Seva Dayal, aka Cuishan He. Originally from China, I have called San Diego, California, my home for the past 17 years. I became a homeopathic physician, a chemotherapist, and a biofeedback practitioner, all because my son was a special need child. My mission, which you can follow at renewmyhealth.us.to or homeopathymuseum.org, has always been about one thing: returning health autonomy to the individual. Since last year, I have been integrating the principles of Germanic New Medicine into my practice. Today, I want to share a case that didn't just change my clinical protocols, it changed the way I perceive the human soul. This is the story of Han, a 10-year-old boy in China. It is a story that proves true healing isn't found in a pill or a bottle, but in the profound truth hidden behind our biology. Han's journey with me didn't start with tics. It began when he was 9 years old. His mother reached out to me via WeChat, her voice heavy with the kind of exhaustion only a parent of a special needs child understands. In the eyes of his teachers and the Chinese academic system, Han was a problem. He was labeled with ADHD. He was disruptive, and he had violent outbursts where he would hit others. On top of that, at 9 years old, he was still suffering from persistent bedwetting. We started with chemotherapy. For those unfamiliar, chemotherapy uses the embryonic tissues of plants, buds, and emerging shoots, which contain the peak life force and hormonal intelligence of the plant. We used these extracts to gently reset his autonomic nervous system and drain the cellular toxicity. The results were life-changing for that family. The violence stopped. The bedwetting, which had been a source of deep shame for him, was completely resolved. We had successfully addressed the biological terrain. He was finally finding some peace. However, as the pressures of the fourth grade intensified, a new biological cry for help emerged: motor tics. Han began to exhibit rapid facial tics, intense blinking and grimacing. These weren't occasional. They were occurring approximately 40 times per day. He was trapped in a cycle of involuntary movements that made him stand out even more as an outlier in his classroom. And GMO extracts couldn't solve the issue. Because Han is in China, there's no place or website that you can buy homeopathic remedies. This is where I used radionics. In my practice, I use frequency technology to transmit the energetic signature of our remedy. So I selected his constitutional homeopathic remedy and transmitted that frequency remotely to his photograph. The response was nothing short of a miracle. Within 24 hours of the first transmission, the tics dropped from 40 episodes a day to just 5. The mother was ecstatic. But as a practitioner, I was curious. Why five? Why didn't they disappear entirely? In classical homeopathy, we call this the obstacle to cure. Something in his environment was still feeding the disease. Something was keeping his conflict active. This is precisely where the work of Dr. Reiki Geert Hammer, Germanic New Medicine, provided the missing map. According to the 5 biological laws, motor tics are a response to a self-devaluation conflict. Specifically, it's a conflict of not being good enough, of failing to perform, or being unable to move the way one is expected to. I decided to look past the symptoms and look at the boy. I asked the mother to send me the photos of the textbooks the teachers were complaining about. They said he was distracted and wasting time. When the photos arrived, I saw pages covered in drawings. But when I looked closer, I didn't see doodles. I saw extraordinarily detailed tactical battlefield maps. I will show you these at the end of this video. I saw complex formations, strategic terrain, and military logic that was far beyond the capacity of a typical 10-year-old. This boy wasn't distracted. He was a visual spatial genius living in a world that only valued rote memorization and standardized testing. Every day, Han sat in a classroom where his greatest gift was treated as his greatest failure. Every time a teacher scolded him for drawing, he experienced a fresh self-evaluation conflict. His body was trying to resolve this conflict, and the tics were the biological repair phase of that recurring trauma. The medicine Han needed wasn't another frequency or a higher potency. He needed to be seen. I messaged his mother and spoke to her heart to heart. I told her Han is not failing. He is operating at a level your school system doesn't have a category for. These drawings are proof of a brilliant, organized, and strategic mind. I gave her a simple assignment. Go home tonight. Do not mention his homework. Do not mention his grades. Instead, sit with him, look at his maps, and ask him to explain his strategy. Let him be the teacher. Let him feel for the first time that his natural essence is a source of pride, not shame. She was skeptical, but she trusted me. The next morning, she sent me a message that still brings tears to my eyes. The tics have stopped completely. Not one blink, not one grimace. Gone. By changing the mother's eyes, we resolved the child's conflict. The biology simply followed the psyche. This case is the ultimate testament to the synergy of our tools. Chemotherapy cleared the physical terrain. Homeopathy plus radionics lowered the biological burden. But G&M provided the truth that set him free. May 17th marks the 91st birthday of Dr. Reiki Geert Hammer. I share this case today to honor his revolutionary contribution to humanity. G&M doesn't ask us to abandon our clinical tools. It asks us to go deeper. It asks us to stop looking at the disease and start looking at the human being, the conflict, and the soul. When we find the truth, the body no longer needs to scream. Now, let me share the drawing with you. Okay. Okay, this is the drawing. You see, the blue color ink was his drawing on the textbook. And finally, I want to say happy birthday, Dr. Hammer, and thank you to bring the light to the world. And thank you all for listening. Bye.